I'm 92 years old, and I need to tell you something, not because it will make me feel wise, not because I need anything from you. I'm past all that. I need to tell you because I've watched 3 generations of people fall for the same lie, and most of them never got to fix it. I did, barely, but I got there. And if I can hand you what took me a lifetime to earn while you still have time to use it, then this is worth more than anything else I could do with whatever days I have left. So stay with me, because what I'm about to say sounds simple, and that's exactly why most people dismiss it and spend the rest of their lives wishing they hadn't. We all carry this internal script. I carried it for 70 years. It says, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll be happy when I pay off the house. I'll be happy when people look at me and see someone who made it. I said that at 30. I said it at 50. I was still saying it at 65. And you know what? I got the things, made the money. People called me sir. My name was on the door. And here is the secret nobody tells you at the graduation ceremony. When you get the thing, the fear doesn't go away. It just finds something new to hold on to. You pay off the house and you start worrying about the roof. You get the promotion and you start worrying about keeping it. The finish line moves. It always moves. And before you know it, you've spent your entire life preparing to live without ever actually doing it. I watched my father fall for this. He worked 40 years in a mill, came home every night with hands that wouldn't close properly, eyes that had stopped looking for anything. He thought if he just sacrificed enough, he'd earn his rest. He retired and died 3 months later. 3 months. He spent 40 years waiting for a someday that lasted 90 days. I was at his bedside, and I swore to myself I wouldn't do the same thing. Then I spent the next 30 years doing exactly the same thing in a nicer suit. That's the villain in your life, not your boss, not the economy, not your circumstances. It's the someday script, this invisible system handed down by your parents, your teachers, every advertisement you've ever seen that treats your life like a project to be optimized rather than a day to be lived. It convinces you that you are a work in progress rather than a human being, that your worth is something you have to earn before you're allowed to rest. I believe that. Lord, I believed it completely. Oh, if something in you recognizes what I'm describing, that specific hollow feeling of doing everything right and still feeling like you're waiting for your real life to begin, go ahead and hit the like button. Not for me. Just as a way of admitting to yourself that you know the script isn't working. That's the first honest thing. I remember sitting in my office at 60. I had built everything I set out to build, and I felt nothing, just a quiet ringing. I thought the problem was I hadn't achieved enough yet, so I worked harder. Missed my daughter's graduation for a merger. Missed years of dinners with my wife because I told myself providing meant writing checks. It took me a long time, too long, to understand the difference between providing for someone and being present with someone. They are not the same thing, not even close. My wife told me once, clear as anything, she said, I don't need the money. I need you to be here. And I thought I was being here. I was paying the bills, wasn't I? I was gone. Even when I was home, I was gone. Here is what took me 9 decades to understand. Save this if you want to, because the world is going to start screaming at you again the moment you close this, and you're going to need a place to come back to. You cannot get enough of what you don't actually need. You don't need the respect of people who don't know your middle name. You don't need a legacy that outlives you. You won't be here to see it. What you actually need is to feel like you matter right now, without the title, without the number in the account. Just you as you are today. And that is something you could have given yourself at 25. I gave it to myself at 84. That's 59 years I spent trying to earn something that was already mine. Now, I'm not saying I have it all figured out. Even at 92, I wake up some mornings and feel that old itch. See something and think, I should have done more, built more, left more behind. It's human. I'm still practicing. Slow learner, I guess. But the difference is I know now that it's a trap. I can see it for what it is, and seeing it clearly is most of the work. I have a friend, Arthur. He's 88, lives in a room half the size of my old office. No legacy to speak of, no title anyone remembers. But when that man looks at a sunset, he is there. When you talk to him, he is listening. He's not planning his next move. He's not keeping score. He figured out somewhere along the way that the journey isn't a road to a destination. The journey is the ground beneath your feet right now, this second. And he lives like he knows that. I've spent the last several years trying to learn from a man 20 years younger than me. The people I've watched die well. And at 92, I have watched a great many people die. Were not the ones who achieved the most. They were the ones who stopped running long enough to ask themselves a real question. Not, am I successful enough? Not, do people respect me? The real question, is this mine? Is this life I'm living actually mine? The people who couldn't answer yes to that didn't suffer from a lack of achievement. They suffered from a life spent waiting for permission that was never going to come from anywhere outside themselves. If you're the kind of person who is done with the noise, done pretending the script is working, and you want to keep having conversations that go beneath the surface, subscribe. That's what this is here for. You are not behind. You are not broken. You don't have to earn the right to live honestly. There is no threshold. No moment where you finally sacrificed enough to deserve the life that actually belongs to you. You're allowed now. You were always allowed. Most people don't understand that until they have almost no time left to use it. The ones who find it early and actually believe it, not just understand it, live differently. Not because their circumstances change, because they stop waiting for permission that was never coming. But think of someone you know who is grinding themselves into nothing, chasing a someday that keeps moving. Send them this, not as advice, just as company, just so they know they're not alone in it. There's a harder question underneath everything I've said today, and I want to name it before I close. Knowing you're enough and actually living like you're enough. Those are two different things, because the world is designed to make you forget. Your phone, your job, your own anxiety, they're all pulling you somewhere else, somewhere future, somewhere not here. How you dismantle that, how you stay present when everything around you is built to keep you running. That's what I go into next. And if today landed, that one will go further. I'm 92. I don't know how many mornings I have left. Fewer than I used to. Yeah, but I wake up and this life is mine. Actually mine. And I want that for you. Not someday, now. The clock has always been running. The only question is whether you're living on your own time or someone else's. Tell me in the comments, what is the one thing you keep putting off because you're waiting for the right moment to finally arrive? The conversation, the decision, the change. Write it out, because putting it into words is the first honest thing. And you'll find that someone in the comments wrote almost exactly what you wrote. And that matters more than you think.